Hi, I'm launching a series on dangerous leaders, how to identify them, what to do in response to them, and what are the indicators we look for to see if indeed we have someone we're working with or maybe we're becoming a dangerous leader. And I used a word about like dangerous. What I'm talking about is not someone who is a physical threat in any way, but someone who's dangerous to the culture of trust, the culture of freedom, the culture of creativity, or to building a good team or building camaraderie, a culture of success in achieving the results that the organization or team is desiring to accomplish. So that's what I mean by dangerous. So I'm going to look at 5 areas, and in those areas we'll evaluate them on whether or not a leader could be dangerous by doing certain behaviors in each of those areas. So this will be a 5-part series, and in this series we'll be looking at these 5 and trying to look at what is it that are indicators that this is a dangerous person or the activity is dangerous or a threat, if you will, to our success or to our team building and so on. So the first area we'll look at is how they handle problems. The second one is how they make decisions. The third is how they use power, how they respond to stress. And then fifth, what do they do with failure? How do they process and react to failure? So in this first part of the series, let's talk about how a leader solves problems and whether or not they qualify as a dangerous leader. I think leaders are dangerous when they value rules over relationships when they're solving problems. In other words, policy takes place over people. That means when a problem arises in an organization or on a team, the leader immediately tries to kind of boundary it by setting up a bunch of guidelines or rules or making quick decisions without working with the team, without engaging the relational environment they have where other people have strengths and ideas and passion and interest and energy. So what's this look like? It looks like this. Rules are put in place to control people versus manage risk. Managing risk is one thing, right? We have traffic lights. We have pharmaceutical guidelines, so to speak, for how to use and label drugs so that they're safe and so on. But when rules are used to control behavior instead of just manage risk, that's when it gets to be toxic. Give you an example. Someone's out cutting their lawn, got a power mower, they're moving along, they slip, their foot goes underneath, have a terrible accident, massive injury to their foot. They're rushed to the emergency room, it's taken care of, but the community finds out about it, and a policymaker at the local level says, you know what, I never want to see anything like this ever happen again. So we're going to pass a law that says no power mowers, no more power mowers in the community. Oh, that'll certainly keep people from sliding under a power mower and getting hurt. That idea is just trying to control behavior, not effectively just manage risk and put out some safety guidelines or do something like that. Another aspect of rules over relationship is when they're used to prevent failure versus to stimulate innovation. In other words, a guideline or rule, how to invest money, who you can contact to build a new project idea or whatever. A rule or a guideline can be really helpful with something like that and can be very meaningful. But when it's used to prevent failure, then you don't get innovation because we all know you can't have innovation without repeated often failure. I worked with a leader who was presenting a vision for adult learning and development to a group of people and said, I would love your ideas. Just love them. So I'll tell you what, over the next couple of weeks, I want you to think about new ways of thinking about developing leaders. And he talked for a few minutes, and I watched people in the room just light up about the opportunity of participating in the process. And then he said these words, however, I've been studying this for 20 years. I consider myself an expert, and your idea better have merit. I watched all the air just go out of the room, and we just, What he had done was stifle innovation by putting a rule in. I don't even know if he realized that we put a rule in. Your idea better be better than anything I've ever thought of or done. Then I'll think about it. Wow. Just very controlling. The rule over relationship. And another indicator under this rule relationship sort of thing is rules are used to measure loyalty versus build community. In other words, there are certain guidelines we can put in place about truth-telling or being honest or authentic that help build community, but there's other rules leaders put in place to stimulate loyalty, right? So it's, if you like my rule, that means you like me. If you follow the rule, that means you follow me. That's a dangerous leader. So we'll be talking about some of the other indicators in this series as we look at decision-making and power and stress and failure. But watch out for a dangerous leader who continues to emphasize rules over relationships?